Okay.
Okay, so we're going to make today's a mug, and we're going to throw it and trim it and put a handle on it. Okay, and so here we go. First step, you're going to want to get this centered. And sometimes I like to comb the clay up just a little and back down. Lets me know if I got any lumps in there or any weirdnesses I got to take care of. Okay. I'm going to go down straight down. I don't want to go too close to the base in here. This is going to be the inside. I want to leave enough clay for me to trim a foot. Okay. Now I'm going to pull that back in. With throwing, you always want to sort of work in a pyramidal fashion. It helps to counteract the tendency of the clay to want to open up. Okay, so I've got my middle finger on the inside, index finger on the outside, and I'm not so much squeezing as I'm keeping my fingers the same distance apart as I go up the wall of that pot. Okay. Here I'm pushing from the inside out. That'll help me get any clay off that base. If you don't do that, you end up with the world's heaviest mugs. And you know what we call those? Door stoppers or toe busters. So let's not do that. Got a little chamois here I like to use for the rim. And I've got my rib. I'm just gonna, the pot's thin enough, I'm just gonna change the texture, if you will. Okay. Good enough. Okay. Now, before you take it off the wheel, take your little long wooden rib and just take a little of that clay off. It just saves you time when you have to go to trim it. Okay. Let's see. I've got a little string, and so now I'm gonna, of course, if you made it too thin on the bottom, you'd be able to tell right then, because you have a hole in the bottom. So my hands are dry, and I'm just joining my wrists together, and that keeps me from getting too close to the pot, and I can just pick it up, and boom, we're ready to go. So the next step on this piece is we want to trim the bottom. Give us a nice foot. That'll help us give us a little bit of a handle when we go to glaze them. Keeps them from being too rough. You don't want to scratch up Grandma's table. Okay, so first step is centering, just like in throwing, right? So what I do here, not quite centered. I just kind of gather it in. Okay, centered. Okay, so the other thing we need now is we got to tack that baby down. Okay, so I just have a little lump of clay here. 1, 2, 3. And I'm not pushing into the pot, pushing down so I don't mangle that shape. Okay. I like to use my fat trimming tool for this. Okay, so I'm just going to start, I usually start on the outside and work in a little bit. So that's the outside. Now, on the inside, we want to start from the inside out, because if we start to trim here, we undercut the clay that's supporting, and then when we go to do the inside part, it could collapse on us. So I've got both elbows on my knees, and frankly, both hands on the tool. And I'm going to call that done. Just touch up this outside just a little bit. And again, you're going to want to sign or label your pot somehow. I've got a little stamp that I made. You should probably do that too. This one, I keep dropping it, so I need to make a new one of these days. After you're trimming, if you have a little sharp edge, just use the edge of your finger, gently go over that, right? Just to make that round. If you don't do that, and then you go to glaze it, this could be a very sharp edge, and no doubt you'll chip it in use. So I'm going to sign that there. I normally wait to put my handle on before I sign it, so I may have jinxed myself. We'll see. All right. So now what are we going to do? We need to make a handle, right? So let's see here. Get rid of that. I don't like strap handles because, man, they're just ghastly. And the edges are sharp. You look like a high school kid made them. Come on, you can do better. Oh, wait, some of you are high school. But this is college class. So this is called pulling a handle. I've got a little sort of a tongue type shaped lump of clay. I've got lubricated my hand with water, and I'm going to just pull straight down. Okay. I'm going to want a taper. This will be the tail end of the handle. Up here is where it's going to join onto our cup. Okay. And it doesn't need to be very, it's just sort of doesn't need to be very long at this point. What I'm more concerned about is the thickness there. Okay. And there we go. Now, I'm going to set that down on the table somewhere. And I'm going to cut that at an angle. Kind of like a 45-degree angle. Okay? So, let that just set up, a few minutes. Generally, when I'm making a lot of mugs, I'll pull 4 or 5 handles, then I'll go trim them, and then by the time I come back, they're ready to go. So, here's one that I made, right? And nice taper. Next step is hold it between your thumb and index finger and sort of give yourself, you're thinning out the edge of that handle, okay? Kind of a Sherry Lewis type of effect, if any of you remember that. Ooh, that one's wet. Great shape. So I've got this guy, and he's been trimmed. I'm going to need to score where the handle is going to join, both at the top and down at the bottom. Okay, a little water on there. Don't neglect this because it's disappointing to have those handles pop off during the firing. And they will if you don't score. And it'll be easy for me to nag you because when we see the two pieces, the handle and the mug, we'll be able to say, hey, yeah, you didn't score. What's up? Okay, so there's that. Put a little water on there. Now, because I've got this edge there, put my index finger right underneath that and push it right in. That edge just sticks to that pot right now. And then you go around and just make sure it's really joined in. Carefully, you don't want to mangle it. You know what we call mangled pots? Garbage. Okay, so we get that all the way around. Now you may accidentally make some finger marks or some nail marks from your fingers when you're working in here. You can, don't worry too much about that now. You can go back over after it's firmed up and clean that up. So, bingo. It's stuck on there. Now get a little more water. And again, I'm just pulling a little bit more, not too much. And when I'm loving it, then and only then, I'll lift the pot up and boom, tack this guy down. It's your call how you're going to want to join the tail. That's a style thing. That's entirely up to you. I don't comment on whatever crazy style you develop. I've always kind of done the two thing, or the other way to do it is maybe do kind of a squish all the way around. Okay, so, and then finally, I want to just kind of go in there with my finger and shape that a little bit. I want to be able to get my fingers in there. Boom. Okay. Now, we're going to set this aside to dry. Hopefully you'll have some plastic around. You'll want to put it upside down and put some plastic on so that that handle can dry to the same moisture content as the rest of the pot. So that way it won't crack. If you leave this out and dry it really fast, pretty positive you'll get a little crack all the way around. It's very annoying. All right. Make me 4, and I'll see you next time.